May Jesus and Mary be loved by all hearts. I'll be doing a few more false prophet videos, at least 2 right away, and then maybe sporadically another one as a need comes up. So I want to address a few points in this video that will just apply to all videos in the future on this topic. I am not attacking persons. I am not judging persons. I'm only addressing content. Jesus told us, judge for yourselves what is right. St. John of the Cross has many warnings for people who believe they receive messages in prayer. Naturally, he was primarily addressing Carmelites who spend a lot of time in prayer. He said that angels are far superior to our minds. They can seem to predict the future, whereas they are logically deducing events, outcomes that we can't see that far ahead because we don't have the perspective. We don't know all the different things that are happening in the world, all the inventions that might be happening, all the evil things or good things that other people might be doing to affect what might happen. So it seems like, oh, this person can predict the future and it must be an angel who spoke to them. But no, it could an angel of God. No, it can be a natural fallen angel who is wanting to deceive you and lead you down a road, and your followers, whoever's thinking you are a messenger. And so it's very easy to be deceived. And I'm not blaming people for whatever you've been deceived. If your content is false, you have been deceived. Now, whether you've done that on purpose or whether you've accidentally fallen into the trap and didn't have a good spiritual guide to help you, that isn't my concern. That's you and your soul. But I have to warn people of the content because it's very serious business to be following false messages. Think of the damage of listening to something that's coming from hell. Do you think that's good for your soul? Oh, it's just curious. It's like going to a pornographic movie, basically. You're exposing yourself to false words, especially if you think there's might be false, but you just don't take the time to figure it out or ask any advice. You are setting yourselves up for a trap. I personally do not read messages until I first find a way to vet the messenger. If I can't go down the rabbit hole, if it's somebody from some foreign country and I don't know how to approach their pastor, their spiritual director, their bishop, or I don't have any witnesses I can go to, I just don't go there because it's too risky. And there have been many that are false. And Jesus warned us that in these times, there would be many false prophets and voices of all sorts of messages. And they don't have any good purpose for us if they're false. And so it's very important that we discern carefully. And also, if a messenger has made one mistake, I mean, in the sense that he has prophesied something that did not come true, then that Deuteronomy says that person is not a messenger of God. So that person should be avoided in the future. One strike, you're out. That's the biblical standard. So if one messenger has prophesied something that didn't turn out true, then he's out. Now there's a situation like Jonah when God said, if they repent, then he will repent. And maybe prayer turned it around, but you've got to have some really definite evidence. And people that make very vague prophecies, like something bad is going to happen next Tuesday, well, you can find a lot of bad things that are going to happen next Tuesday. So, that isn't real prophecy, and that isn't helping your soul. Now, for the false prophets videos in the future, I'm going to turn off the comment section. I don't like to do that, but I just learned from the one on Xavier Arel, however you say his name, it became very apparent that the many people who were making comments had not listened to the video at all because they were saying things I didn't say or accusing me of saying things that I did say. I mean, it was all mixed up. And so I think all they saw was the thumbnail, false prophet, their hero's name, and that was it. They just went ballistic. And so it was all emotional. And then sometimes I try to reply to legitimate concerns, but then, people they don't check other comments to see if this has been addressed already in the comments. And then they ask me the same question that I've addressed earlier several times. So it's just a total waste of time. If listen to the video if you want, or don't. If you feel like you can have more information to defend the person I'm declaring false, then please do a video, and bring us real good evidence, and also refute the things that I believe I presented fairly and correctly. And so do us a favor, but don't just be hashing in the comments. It's just going nowhere. So I'm going to turn the comments off for future videos. So don't take it personally if I'm not addressing your comment. And if you want me to, many times people said, oh, what do you think about this prophet? Or will you do a video on this prophet? And it takes a lot of hours, even weeks and months of research to really vet a prophet. And some of these I don't know because they weren't active when I was in the cloister, so I did not have their books. I did not have time to meditate on them. So it's new to me. I'd have to go down many rabbit holes. So if you want that prophet address, please do the research too, and email me. My contacts are in the House of Mary, omd.org website, and send me your data and all your documentation so that I have real evidence and then can make that public with this channel. But it's just a lot of work to do. So just randomly asking me to check out this person or that person, if you don't have someone to check that out yourself, or you don't know how to do it, just don't be reading their messages. That's the best advice I can give you. I'm checking my notes here because I don't have a big studio, and I cannot invite people to, I'll just podcast this person and invite them to my platform. I'm not a podcasting host. I don't have studios. I just randomly pick a room that has a plain wall and do a video, but I don't have a right studio for that, and it takes special software. And anyway, I'm not going to address the person that's being concerned, because asking that person, well, do you think what you're saying is true? Well, what do you think they're going to say? That's not the way you vet someone. You don't go up to them and say, are you real or not? Or are you honest or not? You don't check out somebody that way. If you're hiring somebody, do you just ask that person, well, do you expect them to give the answer? No, you want references. So this video is about references. I try to reference the things they've said or things that others, anyway, that's the content I'm doing. So I'm not interested in interviewing someone and face off with them. I don't want to attack the person. That isn't my purpose. I'm saying look at the content and then be very careful about listening to their messages or clicking on their videos or buying their books, because I find them very suspect, and I don't want to recommend that person. So that's why I don't invite people to a platform that I don't have, and even if I did have a platform, I wouldn't be inviting them that way. So I interrupted myself. So if you have content, please email me your documentation and I will review it. And if you have really good references and I can see that these are true and anybody else could see that they're true, then certainly that's something to be concerned, especially if you have documented places where that person has prophesied something and it did not come true. If that was wherever that was, that's very, very important evidence that this is someone, according to the book of Deuteronomy, we should not consider a prophet of God. So that's where I'm at. And look at my notes here because I don't have a teleprompter. I'm not a fancy student. So many times when I'm giving a video, I will be looking down at the screen or somewhere off. It's not a professional. I'm not a professional video maker. Sometimes I like to put pictures on the screen and just do an audio so that you're not distracted by me reading my text, because I do prepare a text generally so that I'm not making mistakes in quotes and references. And then please do not bash your bishops or priests in general or particular about not giving us guidance on private revelation. That is not their job unless there's some kind of messenger operating in their territory. That's what the crook on the staff is all about for a bishop. He's not like the Pope across, where is the whole world. The bishop has a certain territory he's responsible for. He's not responsible for the next state, the next across the river. He's not responsible for another country, what some messenger is saying. That isn't his duty. He's responsible, and his priests, they are trained in the seminary for years to give you the magisterium of the church, what is handed on by Jesus and the apostles in the sacred scriptures. That is the dogma, the revelation. That is called public revelation, and they are responsible for guarding that. Private revelation is a whole different ballgame, and they aren't trained for that. And they don't have time for that. They don't have time for it. They have parishes to maintain, all sorts of things to take care of. That isn't their duty. It's really the business of religious orders, because private revelation is kind of where we're at, because a vocation to a religious order is basically a private revelation. It's a revelation that's interiorly revealed. Doesn't have to be a locution or vision, but something clearly that I know was not from me, something that kept coming to me, coming at me. I could not get rid of it until I went and examined that congregation or something and it responded to everything going on in my heart. I realized this is from God. Private revelation and many religious orders are from saints who had visions and revelations. So it's really naturally up our alley. That's our ballpark. So, and private revelation is basically what I'm about, because I was born and raised in Kansas. Many of you ask who I am. Is that a nun? Is she Sister Ann? Is she really a sister? She's a farce. She's not a sister. Why is she wearing that habit? This is not a habit. I usually wear stuff from garage sales or Goodwill, just a dark, plain garb, dress or skirt and blouse, whatever. And then I wear this scarf. My brother bought it in Australia. I just don't want to mess with hairdos and regular jewelry and stuff that a layperson normally wears attire to look beautiful in the world. That is their vocation. But no, I was a religious. Okay, so I felt called to the religious life when I was very young, 8th grade, and I entered at 19 a Discalced Carmelite monastery. That's the same as St. Therese of Lisieux. So I lived a cloistered vocation in prayer and sacrifice and many hours of silence every day. We had lots of hours of prayer and lots of hours to study our Carmelite doctors of the church, mystical doctors. And I was there 33 years. I was in my 50s. I was happy. I figured, nuns usually live to 100, so I figured I was halfway. And then I experienced a private revelation, a locution, which wasn't my normal mode of prayer. I experienced a sudden, unexpected locution to launch or to promote the rule of the Order of the Mother of God, which Mary revealed at La Salette in French a century and a half ago. And so I did a lot of study before I really decided is this really exist? And so my stories on my YouTube channel, several places, I've done podcasts and everything. So I know about vetting a private revelation and then submitting it to superiors for advice. And my archbishop, my prioress, my sisters, they all thought that this was something that seemed to be of God. And so I got a couple years training in an active community that was wonderful. And then it was my duty to find a bishop, a place. But first of all, I had to get all that translated from French to English. And so this has been an odyssey. I've used this YouTube channel to find many helpers. And these translators, they translate each other, they correct each other, they vet each other. And then I edit the final result to make sure that the religious terminology is correct and that it's all consistent with the other data we know, because La Salette is a world of information in French, and we don't have much in English, but we're getting at that because this order is all connected with that. But this order isn't so much, this video isn't about me, except to tell you I am legit. You can track me down, you can ask people, you can go to my monastery, I have a history. I am legit, but I'm not a religious now. I have done the proper dispensation from vows, which was a two-tiered process, not only my solemn vows as a Carmelite, but also my papal enclosure, which is a second dicastery in Rome. I have all the documentation. I have a whole portfolio of the rescripts and all the documents. And Mother Teresa of Calcutta had to do that. It's a typical normal thing. Most congregations are started by someone who was trained and had an experience of another religious congregation. Mother Teresa was a Loretta teaching sister for years until she was on a train and heard a voice telling her that she was supposed to work with the poor. And so she had to get all dispensed. I am now a lay person. My name goes back to my secular name is Mary Farron, but most people don't even remember I ever had that name. And they know I aspire to becoming Sister Ann again in a new congregation. So I'm in the between stage. So I use Sister Ann in quotes because that's kind of my identity in quotes now. I'm not a legitimate religious at this moment. I have been dispensed from my vows for the purpose of starting a new congregation, which may or may not happen, but I will try until I die. So, and so I've been doing a lot of travels and everything. So that's who I am. That's what I have to say. And so I will continue doing what I feel is my responsibility and also the charism of this new order of the Mother of God, because it's all about our times. Mary says that we are living in the times of the apocalypse, and these are not the end of the world times. This is the last times. This is the time when Satan becomes very, very strong throughout the world, and then there is a purification, a chastisement, enlightening, all sorts of things, and then there will be 1,000 years where the church will spread and make converts throughout the world, and it will be the kingdom of Jesus Christ on earth. And so we're called to live in that desert transition. Not all of us will see the promised land, but some of us will get there. And so God bless you. Courage. We're living in the difficult times, but let us use discernment and not react with our emotions. Use your brains. May Jesus and Mary be loved by all hearts. That's from the Rule of the Mother of God, by the way.